On today's show, a Minnesota-bound celebration, and you're invited.
Oh, man.
It's our 20th year anniversary special. So join us as we look down memory lane at some of our favorite stories, plus a blooper or two, following 2 decades of Minnesota-bound.
Minnesota Bound. Brought to you by Minnesota's select GMC dealers.
Hi everybody, Raven and I welcome you to the show. A very special edition of Minnesota Bound tonight. Special to us and hopefully special to you. 20 years ago, Minnesota Bound hit the air on KARE 11. As you can see, I haven't changed much at all. But over those 20 years, we've gathered 20 memories we'd like to share with you tonight in no particular order, starting with number 20.
Now, here's your host, outdoor columnist for the Minneapolis Star-Tribune, Ron Shara, and his dog, Raven.
Here we go. How was it out there, Raven? Huh? Pretty good? Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to my place. Come on, Raven. Get in your corner. Time to start the show. Get in your corner, girl. Atta girl.
Our first show set the stage. We told stories about the great outdoors. If you've never been among them, it's not easy to explain this sport called ice fishing. It looks like such a cold thing to do.
From walking in the woods together to watching a sunset to having a picnic, it's no secret that the outdoors can be a romantic experience.
And we had some very talented help. Belinda Jensen on the hiking trails or drifting rivers.
Ice fishing? Yeah, actually ice fishing and eating.
And going wild in the kitchen with Chef John Schumacher, always cooking, always good eating.
I got one more question. What if the fish don't bite?
Don't bite? Well, I always have
All right.
venison sausages.
Now after show 1, little did we know, 700 shows later, we'd still be here. In high def, no less. But as we look back, we have lots of memories, more memories than time. But one of them is about Minnesota, its vast resources to enrich our lives. That's memory number 19, Minnesota.
Don't mean to pick on Indiana, but there couldn't be an Indiana-bound TV show. Minnesotans have an outdoor passion rarely matched east of the Mississippi. One day we took a trip on Highway 38 out of Grand Rapids.
What do you say, Raven? Is this traveling or what, huh?
A highway so unique, we wrote a song about it.
In the north of Minnesota, there's a roadway through the pines. It rambles through wild country, by lakes and creeks it winds. Only 47 miles, a magical trail, it's only one of a kind. Goes right or left, but never straight, that's Highway 38.
Neil Diamond, no doubt, huh? Well, up next is memory number 18, and I'm not sure I want to watch this. You probably think, as we explored the upper Midwest and Minnesota, that everything went right. Well, you would be wrong. Memory number 18, the ones that got away.
When the fish of your dreams is on the end of your line and everything seems to be going fine. And then something happens to darken your day. You sit there in silence as the dream swims away.
There's one. Ah, darn. Oh. God. Ah. Ah. He got off. Great. Oh, he's off.
Just spit it, huh?
Yeah, he was Yeah. He was that way, this way, that way. It just came out.
Just let go. Yeah.
Here he comes, he's trotting, he's coming in. Here he goes.
This bull was gonna be mine. And then... So close, yet so far. When would my bad luck end?
He gave me a perfect shot because he was quartering away from me. And I put the pin on him. I was just going to let it go. And he bolted.
Some would say poetic justice. Stick around. We'll continue our 20-year journey on Minnesota Bound.
Minnesota Bound, brought to you by Minnesota Select GMC Dealers, Connecticut, Radco Truck Accessories, and by Starkey Hearing Technologies.
Laura?
Hey, Dad.
Oh, Laura, what are you doing here?
I just want to do some laundry, take a shower. I want to use your water.
But Laura, you have your own water.
But Dad, it's not Connecticut water. It's great for my hair, my clothes, plus Bacon loves it.
A little fatherly advice, Laura. It's time to install your own Connecticut system.
Connecticut, better water flows from better thinking.
Welcome back. In Minnesota, one of the most popular holidays is not New Year's Eve, it's the opener. Fishing opener, deer opener, pheasant opener, you name it. And over the 20 years, Minnesota Bound has been there. Memory number 17, opening day.
It took 60 years, but Minnesotans finally had a dove opener.
Here comes one. Ooh, 5 for 9, 5 for 10.
Our political leaders joined the fun. Governor Pawlenty started the governor's deer opener, and Governor Dayton launched the governor's pheasant opener party. Other openers were moments that often had more meaning.
Time heals. So it was with Robert. Soon enough, he found himself back in deer camp.
Just throw her in there. I'll cut her out when I slice her. Okay.
Robert felt compelled to thank those who helped him recover. His idea? Simple. Dinner in deer camp.
Looks good.
So we figured, well, we can't bring the meat to the nursing home, so we'll bring the nursing home to deer camp. Here we go. It's a big day in our hunting camp.
Now, while we've enjoyed the season openers over the 20 years, the best season of all has always been produced by Mother Nature. Memory number 16, Nature's Seasons. Now, as you might expect, over the years, we've met lots of celebrities who were willing to share their outdoor passions with us. So that's memory number 15, the famous, or should I say, the infamous.
In the sports world, an outdoor show wouldn't be complete without hanging out with a Minnesota legend, Bud Grant.
So there was nothing else I could do on Saturday but sit around and sweat. I'd rather sweat in a duck blind.
Seems like fishing runs in the Viking family. Coach Denny Green was a bassin man.
Oh, that's a beauty.
Now that's what I like.
And I'm proud to say, Wally Hilgenberg made his last cast with me on the Zumbro River.
I started getting some little symptoms, if you will, that something was wrong. Oh, he got off. Ended up down at the Mayo Clinic. I got told I got 3 years.
By the way, one of the grumpy old men loved fishing. Jack Lemmon and I shared a boat one day. As for rock stars, I spent some time deer hunting with the one and only Ted Nugent, who, as everybody knows, doesn't keep his opinions to himself.
We, the hunting community, would stand up more, and I think that we would recruit more people, and ultimately that would recruit more voters, and that would seal the self-evident truth that nature without man is unnatural.
Spent a few days turkey hunting with America's first couple of television hunting shows, Lee and Tiffany. May surprise you to know they both grew up in Columbia Heights. What about famous anglers? Well, we fished with most of them. Minnesota's own Al Lindner.
Oh, look at that baby, huh? Woo!
And the Babe, Winkleman. And Ron Weber, the Rapala man. Larry Dahlberg of Stillwater still hunts for big fish on his television show.
Ron and I are going fishing, and you're not.
And speaking of fishing shows on TV, it was a pleasure to share a boat with one of the TV pioneers.
Yeah.
Fishing with the Tennessee man, Bill Dance. Coming up, more memories from 20 years of Minnesota Bound. Up next, memory number 14, some of our favorite places. Stay with us.
Closed captioning is brought to you by The Yard, premier manufacturers of maintenance-free outdoor patio furniture and accessories from recycled plastic.
Welcome back. You know, it became apparent that Minnesotans in pursuit of outdoor adventure would go anywhere. They had no boundaries. So our Minnesota-bound cameras followed along, and that's our memory number 14, favorite places.
First, there was South Africa and Zimbabwe. We tagged along with big game hunters. We visited the wildlife parks and water holes. The jungles of Brazil also beckoned, with casts for giant peacock bass on the world's most impressive river, the Amazon.
Got him?
We fished near a few beaches too. Cabo San Lucas. Hey, somebody's got to do it.
There he goes.
Closer to home, who could forget Alaska with its scenery and wildness and tight lines? We all remember where we were on 9/11. Cameraman Steve Plummer and I were in Norway along the North Atlantic fishing for cod and a few scary fish.
You can see where it got the wolf fish now.
Yeah.
We were told about the collapsing Twin Towers in New York, the plane crashes, and the tragic loss of lives by a Norwegian fisherman. His face was sad. But easily our favorite place to be over the 20 years is close to home, Minnesota, with all of its many outdoor opportunities, from the limestone bluffs of the southeast to the boondocks of the BWCA.
Continuing our memory countdown, you know, with so much to see and do in Minnesota, it's no surprise the state has spawned some of the best artists in the world, from duck painters to decoy carvers. And we brought you their stories. That's memory number 13, artists.
The definition of an artist supposedly is somebody who creates art. But in Minnesota, that covers a lot of territory. Over our 20 years, we've met the famous who hang out on the North Shore.
That's where everything went right again with the world.
Including fame that runs in the family.
These are the hottest brush strokes in the country, the Hotman brothers.
We also met truly inspiring artists who, against all odds, found a way to create beauty.
Working with knives and drilling with a drill. And he says, "You're blind, man." I said, "Yeah, I know I'm blind."
Of course, we've met artistic legends.
I love to do it. It's part of my psyche.
Les Kuba was a gifted man with a brush.
It's called Boundary Waters New Beginnings.
And let's not forget artists with a camera who call Minnesota home.
You can't photograph wolves by design in the woods. You can't sneak up on them.
Looking for a couple of things. We're looking for a tremendous amount of realism, first of all.
Of course, the title artist has many definitions.
Tools of the trade.
And one of our favorite unusual artists was the late Otis Lale.
I just like doing things with my hands, and I like individuality. I'm Otis W. Lale. I'm a retired Air Force Master Sergeant, and I hope I'm a master fish carver. I just want to enjoy myself and what time I've got left. Because I've got the bedpan blues. Oh, yeah.
You know, over the years, Minnesota Bound has featured wild game cooking for a reason, to emphasize the cycle of life that affects us all. In addition, we spent many falls at the Minnesota State Fair, the great get-together, so all of you could get up close and personal to the star of the show, and that's memory number 12.
For 2 decades now, we've had the chance to taste a wide variety of wild game. We've cooked frogs, squirrels, ostrich, even snake soup.
Look at here, Brian. Rattlesnake chili.
And gotten to know the cooks in the kitchen.
It's that time again to get wild in the kitchen.
Hi again, and welcome to my kitchen. I'm Lisa.
And I'm here with Chef Jim Kinberg. And I'm here with Chef Paul. This looks absolutely fantastic. I don't know about you, Jim, but this turkey burger is definitely calling my name.
One of our most requested recipes has been granola mix, that perfect take-along snack to a place called the Minnesota State Fair.
And I'm off to the State Fair, and that's my wild chow.
Speaking of State Fair, we've learned people will come. Since 1998, we've had a Minnesota-bound cabin out at the Great Minnesota Get-Together in the area called the North Woods.
Well, we're here in the Minnesota-bound log cabin.
And while we were at the fair, we did stories about all the things fairgoers enjoy. For some folks, the best part of the Minnesota Fair is all the food, of course. But for others, it was a chance to meet Raven and see her do her thing, the star of the show.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Jesse Treble Foundation Systems and Safe Basements Waterproofing, Grand Rapids Tourism, and by the Minnesota Agricultural Water Resources Coalition.
Welcome back as we celebrate 20 years of being on the air in this special edition of Minnesota Bound. You know, while Raven and I are in front of the camera most of the time, behind the scenes, there's a very large family that makes it all happen. That's memory number 11, our family.
I've watched you fly fish, but I haven't.
My own family includes an understanding wife, Denise, who sometimes joined the fun.
All right! Rooster, shoot!
Daughter Simone has appeared as a fishing partner or a teacher for hunting ringnecks. Daughter Laura is carving her own television career in the outdoors. My brothers learned to be fishing hams as well.
Who's the best fisherman? Hey, you're looking at him.
I have one.
Really? And my grandson Jake launched his TV career as the youngest star of the show.
Oh, what is that one?
is a blue.
Now it's time for you to meet our Minnesota Bound staff, the real key to our 20 years on the air. First, there's Kelly, and the best producers and outdoor videographers in the business, and a crack sales staff, and 3 very talented reporters, Laura Shera, Travis Frank, and Bill Shirk.
Oh yes, there's one more member of the team, you, the viewer. Without you, we'd have been gone long time ago. So, thanks for watching. Now Laura Shera has memory number 10.
So many memories have happened right here on this hay bale. Well, I took it over today for memory number 10. A little history and a few facts you may not know about my dad. My dad grew up in a small town called Postville, Iowa, where his grandpa introduced him to the great outdoors. He went on to Iowa State and graduated with a degree in journalism and wildlife management. He has a hidden talent that has nothing to do with the outdoors. In fact, it's music. He's an avid singer and performed for the Edgewater 8, which was a Twin Cities nightclub act back in the 1960s and 70s. In fact, he has music to thank for meeting my mom, Denise, as it wasn't his casting skills that landed him a beautiful wife back in 1969. In 1968, Ron wrote his very first outdoor column for the Minneapolis Star and Tribune. That Sunday tradition carried on for the next 29 years until he launched himself into the world of television. His journalism led him to publish numerous books, including Minnesota Fishing Guide, Muskie Mania, and Twin Cities Fishing Guides, which many still use today. Ron's legacy and greatest passion in life is wildlife conservation. In fact, he was instrumental in introducing the wild turkey to our great state of Minnesota. After first hunting wild turkeys in 1967, he founded the Minnesota chapter of the Wild Turkey Federation. He loves hunting turkeys so much that in 1975, he started his own turkey hunting club in South Dakota. It's called the Turkey Track Club, and it just celebrated 39 years of successful guided hunts. Speaking of achievements, his list is long. He's been enshrined in the National Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame, the Fishing Hall of Fame of Minnesota, Pheasants Forever Lifetime Member Award, and is also a lifetime member of the National Wild Turkey Federation and Minnesota Deer Hunters Association. In fact, Governor Tim Pawlenty officially made May 13, 2004, the Ron Shera, Raven, and Minnesota Bound Day. Don't forget to mark your calendars. You know, as the saying goes, behind every great man is an even greater woman. My dad has my mom Denise to thank for Raven becoming the superstar that she is. It was her idea to put that famous black lab next to my dad on the very first episode of Minnesota Bound. The rest, they say, is history. Congratulations, Dad, on sharing 20 years of your outdoor adventures. Your family is certainly proud, and we love you.
Thanks, Laura. Now it's time to brag a little. You know, from the very first Minnesota Bound, we've always prided ourselves on telling good stories about interesting people, places, or things. And we've won many awards for doing so. So that's memory number 9. Bill Shirk has awards.
We never really set out to try and win awards. We simply wanted to tell the best television stories we knew how, and that meant using strong writing and strong photojournalism. But it's kind of funny, something happened along the way. Some of the television organizations started to recognize our work. Take the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. Over the last 10 years, they've honored us with about 9 or 10 Emmy Awards. Kind of fun to have these sitting around in the office. Another one of the big groups we deal with is called the National Outdoor Writers Association of America. And as you can see, at least a few of our stories have done pretty well in their eyes. They've even honored us with several of their President Choice Awards, which essentially says this is the best outdoor television story on TV, period. Fun to have those as well. But maybe more importantly to us, the accolades that have come from the conservation organizations like Pheasants Forever, the National Wild Turkey Federation, and Ducks Unlimited. They have recognized our Minnesota Bound stories for conserving and preserving our natural resources. Really a big deal to us, one of the main reasons we're in business. Bottom line, I guess we've done okay over the years, and we appreciate all the awards. Congratulations to the Minnesota Bound team.
There.
Coming up, more memories, big fish, and big game.
That's what they're supposed to do.
Welcome back. You know, after 20 years, we were bound to catch a few big fish or have a few successful hunts. So that's memory number 8, the ones that didn't get away.
We bugled elk in the Colorado mountains, and a few of them answered, and 1 or 2 went home with me.
There he goes.
One day in Islamorada, Florida, former Minnesota twin Dougman Cavich and I caught more sailfish than I ever thought possible in mere hours. On Knee Lake one day, the largest northern pike of my life was not far away.
Wow, and his gills just flared.
Sucked it in, didn't it?
He just went, "Whoa!"
When I caught a Bragan-sized muskie, the cameras were never there. Ditto for peacock bass. But the camera was present for a glorious moment. I call it Day of the Pike.
39, we'll call it. 37 inches. 36.
45, oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, I got my picture taken out.
All caught on a fly rod. And who could forget that giant bass? Nailed at high noon on Mexico's Lake El Salto.
Oh, man, I tell you what. Oh, oh man.
Muy grande.
13-1. 13-1.
You know, none of us should forget that the reason America has such abundance in fish and wildlife is because of our conservation programs. Conservation by everybody from farmers to sportsmen's groups. That's our memory number 7, conservation.
The comeback of wildlife was always a favorite, such as wild swan populations being restored with help from a swan named H99, last seen in southwest Minnesota. Once again in the state's northwest, prairie chickens have resumed their spring courtship dances on the booming grounds, and our cameras were there. In the Badlands of North Dakota, wild bighorn sheep once again roam the rugged landscape, a program paid for by sheep hunters. In the name of pheasants, nobody produced wild birds in South Dakota like super rancher Steve Halverson. We watched DNR fish habitat work on the Straight River using helicopters, while in the Great Lakes, scientists battled the invasive sea lamprey. As you can see, conservation is about people who care. Care to clean up rivers or care to save wetlands for ducks. And the battle goes on.
We got to live on this earth together, so let's get it together.
So you thought Raven was the perfect television dog, huh? Well, you might want to think again. That's memory number 6, bloopers.
You have that big fish on the end of your line. Thank you very much, Ray.
One of the most popular fish, start again. Now here's an interesting twist to a Minnesota fishing state.
2.
Now one of the newest, most popular fishing
I'm Ron Sherrill. Thanks, Raven. Raven's the star of the show and very affectionate as well.
Bonafide. It feels like fireworks. I'm sorry. Such is the case in our next story when my daughter Laura Shera finds the elusive muskie. What happened?
She left.
Coming up, more Minnesota-bound passions. One guess, gobble, gobble.
Welcome back. Now you knew this was coming. I mean, what would a spring on Minnesota Bound be without a story about a bird that was loved by Ben Franklin and me, the wild turkey? That's memory number 5.
It's fair to wonder what possesses somebody to stumble into wooded darkness before dawn. Some say it's called turkey hunting, but that's not the answer. This is the answer. Oh my. This is Simone. This is Laura. Simone, the oldest, was the first to try hunting a gobbler in the Black Hills of South Dakota. Now it was Laura's turn.
You hear anything?
It was cold and dark, and I was thinking, this is crazy. And then as soon as it got a little bit lighter and lighter, all of a sudden they started darting out of the tree, and exactly where you told me they were going to land, they did. It was almost as if they were on cue.
Today, turkey hunting seasons are held in 49 of the 50 states because of turkey restoration efforts by wildlife managers, hunters, and the National Wild Turkey Federation. In other words, America's woodlands once again are alive with the sound of wild turkeys.
You know, turkeys weren't the only critters that we appreciated. Over the years, we saw many of them and did stories about them, ranging from Alaska brown bear to brown bats. That's memory number 4, the critters.
Ouch! You're into it.
Up next, some of the favorite characters we've met over the years. Some are gone, but none of them are forgotten. That's memory number 3, characters.
Hey, nice going. Oh.
Among the unusual characters, a fellow named Slingshot Jerry. And who could forget Ralph Duran, who could make every sound with his voice.
The older you get, the harder it gets.
The oldest fisherman I ever fished with, Ed and Floyd, both more than 100 years old.
You got that?
Hey!
And sometimes the character wasn't even a person.
And we pull the drawers open, and it's just like a time machine.
It was like Ralph's talking eggs. And we had famous fishermen too. Bluegill Bro.
What a beautiful fish, huh? We'll let that one go.
Gary Roach, Mr. Walleye.
That's a walleye!
And Mr. Ice Angler, Dave Gentz.
Oh, come on, I missed 2 of them here now.
And what about the guy who came up to my boat one day with every angler's nightmare? Ouch.
Did you cut the head off?
It's out.
You know, for 20 years, we ended every show with a reminder to you to introduce a kid to the great outdoors. Some of you did, and sometimes we tagged along to enjoy the fun. That's memory number 2, introduce a kid to the great outdoors.
How's everybody doing this morning? Yeah! You guys excited to be out of school?
As I'm fond of saying, introduce a kid to the great outdoors.
You have youngsters, remember, introduce a kid to the great outdoors. I'm Ron Charles.
It's got a ring to it, don't you think? Clearly, the most important and fun stories that we've done over the years often involved kids.
Jonathan, where are you from?
I don't know.
You know what? That's all right. You're from Minnesota somewhere, right?
Kids who will someday be the next stewards of the great outdoors. We followed kids learning in the field, kids learning in the classroom. And we've met the teachers who are guiding the way.
Now, kids, we're going to bring out something from a different part of the world and something that wouldn't win any beauty contests at all. There it is!
Well, I just see what the outdoors does for kids and getting them out and into those experiences. Those are the things that they remember. It's just part of what we do.
Whether it's on a lake or out in a pheasant field, kids are getting it done. Some youngsters are blazing their own trail in the outdoors.
I've taken a lot of top 10s and cashed a lot of checks.
It's neat to see that there's a generation coming that's interested in tournament fishing and enjoys the competition.
Others not only love the outdoors, but also were fighting battles of their own. For Scott Barton at this moment, there's no other place he'd rather be. Since 1997, Scott has been in a fight for his life, fighting leukemia and related complications. He's 14 years old.
He's a special young man, and I guess gives a new meaning to everything that both you and I enjoy outdoors.
But if heaven can wait, Lord willing, hopefully it won't be Scott's last.
I don't know what to say, just... yeah, keep fighting, no matter what. Yeah! Yay for me!
And then there's my new fishing partner, grandson, Jake. Jake started his TV career at the age of about 7 years old. And now, well, he thinks he can outfish his grandpa.
Attaboy. Grandpa loves to fish with you, buddy.
I love to fish with you, too.
Coming up, a final word ending 20 years of memories on Minnesota Bound.
You know, before we reach the end here, there's one more memory, a big one. It's about the stars of the show. Raven 1, Raven 2, and Raven 3. That's our last memory, Raven.
She's a black Labrador retriever with an attitude. A television star for the great outdoors. But the black lab you see on television, adorned in her trademark red bandana, is not just another four-legged showbiz dog. there's another doggy story to tell about this dog named Raven. To begin with, she is a dog true to her breed, excited about hunting birds. Raven is also a she, which means she has had puppies. They weren't born with red bandanas, but, you know, that's showbiz. The original Raven eventually passed her stardom to a daughter. After Raven II, the bone was passed to the present star, Raven III, who's the granddaughter to the first Raven. Over the years, Raven has used her popularity to raise funds for Pheasants Forever to acquire wildlife land. How? More than 6,000 fans donated more than $25,000. Gander Mountain Stores sold thousands of plush Raven puppies and donated profits.
I was choking up driving in here because of all the things that I've been able to do. In my estimation, this is my personal greatest contribution.
Someday this sign will fade, and someday Raven and the fellow she's with will go over their final hill. But Two Rivers will still be here, a wild place forever, thanks in part to a doggone TV star.
So ends 2 decades of Minnesota Bound. And after all those years, it's true, Raven is still the star of the show. Thanks for watching.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433. For more information on these stories and more, catch us on the web at mnbound.com.